Signorino, un'altra volta quando battono andrà fuori. Signorino, un'altra volta quando battono andrà fuori. La consegna servitore al suo modo per tappare. Sì, 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 sì. Signorino, un'altra volta quando battono andrà fuori. Signorino, un'altra volta quando battono andrà fuori. La consegna servitore al suo modo per tappare. E non servono le forze, faccia pure la gatta morta. Faccia pure la gatta morta. Cospetto per quella porta, nemmell'aria dove sta. Cospetto per quella porta, nemmell'aria dove sta. Un motore della mia sorte, non si lascia vicino, voglia no. Un motore della mia sorte, non si lascia vicino, voglia. Il lento si nascontrolata, sincera, in tua camera serrata, io voglio farlo grande, io voglio farlo grande, io voglio farlo grande.
Here is an interview with Salvatore Baccaloni dating from December 17th, 1958. He talks about his days as a boy soprano, his early career, Feodor Chaliapin, and the role of Leporello.
Finest basso buffo of our day, and an all-around delightful human being and artist, Salvatore Baccaloni. Pleased to have you as our guest, Mr. Baccaloni.
Hello, thank you, Studs. I am very glad to are here today and make a little chat with you about the music.
In this matter of chat, Mr. Baccaloni, I think that listeners would like to know what makes this man, this so satisfying artist. Suppose we start from the beginning. Would you mind sort of giving us your autobiography? I understand that when you were a small boy, you, the basso, were a boy soprano at the Sistine Chapel Choir.
Oh, well, because I have my education in this field. The Salesian father is the special caste of the Catholic Church, is the caste of educator, and have in his hand to educate the little people to sing. And the real 9-year-old, the people is the have the complete musical education, because you serve, in the Catholic Church. You have so many churches in Rome. No? It's the center of the church in the world. And every morning, the central school of San Salvatore in Lauro furnish the Sistine Chapel for make more clear, furnish to all cathedral in Rome the little people to sing something.
You were one of them.
One of them. I am very busy. I gain very nice money, because in that time the media you gain in the school is 60 lire a month. 6 lire a month. In that time is the pay for the employer, the state's employer. And this good money, I serve myself from just I live. From 7-year-old to today, I gain my life.
So in other words, you've made your living through music ever since you were 7.
Yes.
As the little boy soprano. And then from soprano to basso. This is a rather strange
Well, this is
shift.
very strange, because the nature is peculiar sometimes. I don't know. But all light voice, when you are a child, generally change in the dark voice, baritono or basso. Suppose Nazareno De Angelis, Tita Ruffo, this kind of people sing the soprano when it's young. And the dark voice, the mezzo soprano and contralto, change in the tenor voice.
They become tenors.
Alessandro Bonci is the contralto in the church. Le Schipa sing the mezzo soprano in the church.
Schipa was a deep voice, and he becomes a lyric tenor as an adult.
Well, I don't know what is in the nature, but this is the law.
Well, what about your work in the opera, your beginnings? You were with La Scala for a long time, weren't you?
Well, I make my debut in La Scala in 1924. I continue to sing in La Scala in Interrot for just 1939. 1939, I leave Italy to South America. The war picked up me on the way. and I remain in the United States because the government made me, the Metropolitan made me to enter the role of basso comic in this famous theater in the United States, in famous theater in the United States, famous theater in the world. Because the Metropolitan is the glorious theater, because is perhaps, not perhaps, certainly the only real international theater in the world.
Is the Metropolitan.
Because in the Metropolitan, past through the years, through the 70 or 18 year, all the best you have in the world, not in America, only.
You think the Met then is the finest opera house?
I think it start to continue in this line. You know, you have a little period during the war and needed to serve the Metropolitan for what happened on the country.
You feel Mr. Bing has lent a lot of color to the Met?
Well, Bing is a nice people. I think so. Is a wrong idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's the very progressive people, because before Bing, the Metropolitan start to sleep a little,
With
to
Bing's
sleep
predecessor.
up the glorious laurels to the old times. The audience now have more interesting to come in the Metropolitan. Bing come, make this, make that, make the new, make the whole. The audience are quiet again, the interest in the Metropolitan, because a part of what make Bing or not. I have the impression, I am persuaded that this country is the gold mine for the great theater, the grand opera, and the great music in the future.
You feel then that there is in America a growing audience for opera?
Yes, I don't feel, I check.
You know.
Because I work in America from the first time I sing in the United States is 1930. I'm in love with Chicago because Chicago is the first my lover in America, because it's the first city I visit. You are too young, perhaps you don't remember
When
the
did
great
you sing in Chicago?
1930, 1931, when just grew up the new theater in the Walker Drive. Mr.
When Insel built the house.
Samuel Insel building the house. I don't know if he remained one
You
of the
sang
best
when
my friend.
Raisa was there, and
Yes,
and
with
Mary Garden.
Raisa, with Mary Garden, with
Edith Mason.
Mason,
Roger
Marshall, Polacco is the conductor after changed the time, changed the conductor, closed the company because, you know, Mr. Samuel Insel make the big crash. I don't know.
A little
But it's
financial
a
difficulty.
very, you know, many times the people have their own idea about Insel, because Insel, for my opinion, born 20 years before. Because he had the idea to
Too
commercialize,
soon.
to
20 years
building
too
the
soon.
big zone in the east side. In that time, the east side, the audience don't like going the new theater because the east side is the center of the mafia. I don't know. He don't like the zone because it's the cheap zone. He don't go in the theater.
Mr.
But
Baccaloni
you
is
see
hitting very
today,
delicate subjects now.
you see today what born in this side? He start to come the big center on Chicago. He will have this idea
He
to
had that
building the
idea.
theater for pay with the rent, pay the cost of the performance.
Because there is a wonderful house that isn't being used today, the Auditorium Theater, you know, the old opera house.
The
Host
old
of the best
auditorium.
acoustics
Oh,
in the
well,
world.
well,
And someday they're talking
this
about
is the new
rebuilding.
building. The Walker Drive is the new building. I think is one theater very well made. But the acoustic in the old theater
Yeah,
is best.
That's right. Back to your career, Mr. Baccaloni. It was Toscanini, was it not, who recognized that you were such a marvelous
Well,
buffo man?
I don't start my career in the basso buff role.
No, you didn't start with
I start to sing the serious role. I sing all Wagner, all Verdi, Forza del Destino, Balli Maschera, and this and that.
We didn't know you were a Wagner man. You were a Wagner man, too.
Oh, yes, I sing for alla Scala. I sing the Wanderer in the Siegfriedo. I sing the Pogner and Cotter in the Meistersinger. I sing in that many years ago, the Lohengrin, Remarque, in the Tristano. I sing so many roles.
You worked
What
with
difference to sing Wagner or to
no,
sing Verdi?
in this
I
matter
don't
of
know.
Wagner, you worked Boris, too. You did Pimen with Shalyapin, huh?
Pimen and Varlam, I sing so many. With
Varlam.
Shalyapin in that time, I go around in Europe, I have a small company. And he make around many opera. I sing with him the Rascos Vitania, the Fear of Sorosiski, Sadko, and Boris and Kovanchina. And I remember I am in London. He teach me in the Varlam role, because in that time, in 1929, he used to sing the double bill, sing the role of Boris. He liked too much the role of Varlam, the the drunk man, in the inn. But after, the age, he's a little tired. One day he said, I am tired to end the double role. Sal, next week you go to sing.
So he had
Varlam, all that.
he
Well,
had you do.
he's a little, what I know, I hear so many nights at the Varlam. And I study, come to teach me a little in acting, because I said to him, I have a study about the sound. Because the sound is very curious in the Russian people when sing in Russia. It's absolutely characteristic in this kind of people. Hey, tell me, ma no, mio giovane amico, you possibly you sing with Russian, because you see, Mr. Shalyapin, when suppose Varlam is go down the a little drunk, he start, the music is this, cammina lui, come s'affretta lui. Because for my hearing, it's a little skeletric, this kind of music absolutely is not the Russian sound. Oh, tell me, my friend, you pick up the note from your belly, you sing in Russian language, because you have the cadenza. He start to sing, I copy him, you make this. Cammino lui, come s'affretta lui. This you come perfect Russian. In every language you sing. Oh, this is good lesson, Mr. Shalyapin. Very good.
You caught the flavor from Shalyapin.
Yes, because for singing one language you needed to contact flavor, the language flavor.
You feel the very sound itself. Each culture, each language has its own special sound.
The special sound. The American language has the special sound too.
But nonetheless, you were able to catch it in Russian.
I catch in Russia through Shalyapin, because naturally he is the most great actor, the most great personality
He was.
I know in the world. Yes, when you sing the Boris, yes, I have many Boris around, good, more good, or less, but Shalyapin remained
He was
master in that kind of. When I remember when X in the stage, because better than me,
Well, you're an excellent
the Tsar is the chief, a political chief and the religious chief, and Boris is the killer of the son of Ivan el Terrible. His heart is in trouble. He's near to death. But in the day of the Pasqua, the Eastern day, the prince called Boris to go in the church to present the church function. He go down in the street, near to death, with the skeletal fears. I remember he attacked the monologue with one little brace of voice. Oh, please, l'arcano nefasto mi rode l'alma. He trembled on the stage because he's near to fall down. And many Boris today ex, oh tristo il cor, kind of sick man is this. He's not sick at all.
In other words, I wish the audience could see Mr. Baccaloni acting this out, remembering Shalyapin doing this with his sensitivity. In other words, he actually felt the role. He wasn't just a singer, he was an actor.
He is no a singer, he's not an actor. Shalyapin, when they play Boris, is Boris.
He was Boris, yes. Oh, that's tremendous.
What is it?
How vividly. Well, coming back to you, Mr. Baccaloni, you are no small potatoes as an actor yourself, you know.
Well, I like
You
to
are
acting because I think the acting is very important part in the singer too, because the singer ended the drama, ended the comedy. Perhaps he's little later, remain on the stage, perhaps many times say, andiamo, go. In the real play, you say, hey, go, that's all. in the music, perhaps the chorus remain, andiam, 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 and remain for 2 minutes on the stage, go. But this is the little, only the stage form, but real, the drama is saying. When you play Otello needed to have the good actor. Scarpian needed to have the good actor. My friend Duval needed to have the good actress, otherwise Tosca non come up, because you have so many Toscas sing very well, but acting very bad.
That's right, has to be
And the audience not like. Today, especially because in the old times, 50 years ago, you have the glorious voice, the same Tetrazzini or this, and the Traviata of this. But the Traviata with 300-pound girl on the stage. Today, the audience,
Dying
through
of
the moving
consumption.
picture, don't like to see more than that. Don't support that because, to see something.
She has to be the part.
You have to have the acting spirit, the physical. The same I like. I understand Romeo. But possibly with my 300 pound, I go to play the Romeo on the stage.
I imagine
The
you could
audience
do a
laugh.
Romeo. You could do your own
Perhaps
kind of
my
Romeo.
heart is capable to capture every sensation from Romeo. But I go to play Romeo or to play the most beautiful angel in the paradise, Satana. The devil on the,
The devil,
Mephistopheles on the
Mephistopheles.
Faust. This is perhaps is Lucifero. Vero? He make the war to the God for go in the chair himself, and the Lord condemned him to the fire. But this is the most beautiful angel in the paradise. And you imagine, I sing Faust and Mephistopheles very well in my home, but in the stage, I ended the role. When I jump up at the table, my belly go up and down.
Mr. Baccaloni, I imagine you could do, and I imagine you could do a better Faust and a better Mephisto than many younger singers I know who may look the part. because you feel it.
Well, I feeling I understand the role, I sing well the role, I have the mirror in my home, in my dressing room. This is important. Watch yourself before going the stage.
Your Leporello, you talked about Shalyapin a moment ago, a performer on the stage. Your Leporello, I mean, nobody denies this. Your Leporello is the finest of our day. He has an excellent buffo basso role, that you do.
Well, because he is not the basso buffo, he's the real actor. Because I have the fortune the chance to sing in 1928 in La Scala in Milan, conductor Bruno Walter, conducting I sing in that time Masetto.
You sing myself.
No Leporello. In the same season, I sing the Rosenkavalier with Strauss, and the Marriage of Figaro conduct with Richard Strauss, because for my opinion, Richard Strauss is one of the best conductors in the Mozart field.
He was in the pit then. And you were in
He's fantastic. Very bad in that time, have the ribbon to recording that, because
Early
he
recordings.
accompanied the recitativo with the triple spinetta, and every night make the comment about the role. Suppose when in the Marriage of Figaro, the Count tried to enter in the maid chamber. Oh cielo, che intesi? E l'orchestra make tu. He jump up and go tu. He sing from the audience. And compone every night the recitativo of the music of the recitativo, because in final is real the continuator of Mozart in different kind of language, in a different kind of exposition, in the modern manner, but he's a Mozart. His music is the same plane of Mozart music, for my opinion. You see the last opera, with La Donna Senza Ombra. Well, the wife without shadow. The girl without shadow. I don't know the free translation.
That's all right, the wife
is
without
that.
shadow.
Is that. This is absolutely one modern Don Pasquale.
It's a modern Don Pasquale.
What kind? Lamentable in the United States. It's a little late to show that kind of music because it's the great music in the United States. This is the bad. Remain the private business. The great music is not the private business. It's the cultural business. And needed the government put it in. This is delicate subject.
I see what you mean. You're talking about subsidies.
But
you're talking about government subsidies.
little by little, the government come because make so many concessions around. Cancel the income tax, cancel this, cancel that. This is the manner to help the theater.
Mr. Baccaloni now is entering another area here. That's all right.
And I have the finger on this kind of business now because in final I live for 41 years in the business. I born in this business. I know the theater. The theater is the same in every part of the world. I am very pleased to announce you the states of Florida called me to direct in the February. I start the musical exhibition, the musical festival. This year is
You're going to direct the Florida Musical Festival.
I go to direct and to sing too. For this year is the very low budget, but I gave my art. I try to stage. I go to stage too old, but completely new for United States. The Filosofo di Campagna by one old musician, Gallupi, is the Venetian near to Venezia, the Chioggia musician, and L'Impresario in Angustia by Cimarosa. I play and I show one opera in one act before. After you have the exhibition for every great painter because the Italian government sent up more than 100 masterpieces from the Renaissance painter, no?
From the combination of different art forms, painting and music, all
painting and
mixed
music.
there.
The audience have 45 minutes to go to see the exposition, and after come back in the theater to hear the second opera by L'Impresario in Angustia by Cimarosa.
I want to come back to your Leporello because I want to get a lead into hearing you sing this.
That's all right.
I want to. What about when you first did Leporello? Who was the Giovanni you remember working with?
Don Giovanni is the finest baritone. John Brown.
Oh, you did. You did.
In the Glenburn
Opera Festival
Glenburn Opera Festival recording, for my opinion, remain one of the best recording opera in the film.
Fritz Busch directed that.
Fritz Busch is absolutely wonderful. It's one of the great man and great artist.
Mr. Baccaloni, why don't you set the scene? You know, before you go into the Madamina, see? Donna Elvira is chasing Giovanni, right?
Yeah.
And you stop her?
Yeah, I stop her here.
What do you say to her?
Oh, I say, Madamina, il catalogo è questo, because I am the first enemy of Don Giovanni. Leporello is not real the friend of Don Giovanni.
He's not a friend.
No, he's not the servant too. This is the difference in my interpretation.
I want to get that.
Because, from the start, Leporello wait for Don Giovanni, said, notte e giorno faticar, per chi nulla sa gradir. Night and day I work. I am in the center of the street. This bad man is suffer with a girl to enjoy this life. From tomorrow I change an idea.
Notte e giorno faticar, per chi nulla sa gradire, piove e vento sopportar, mangiar male e mal dormir. Voglio fare il gentiluomo, e non voglio più servir, e non voglio più servir, non voglio più servir. Oh, che caro galantuomo, a voi star dentro quella bella, ed io fare la sentinella, la sentinella, la sentinella. Voglio fare il gentiluomo, e non voglio più servir, e non voglio più servir, no, non voglio più servir. fammi far che venga gente, fammi far che venga gente, non mi voglio far sentire, non mi voglio far sentire, non mi voglio far sentire, non mi voglio far.
I come the lovers, I abandon the men. This is the man submitted? No, this is the first enemy. The first girl catch Don Elvira, dice, hey, Don Elvira, don't take care about this stinky man. Make with every girl, make the same. You know, I have the book, you see. Abandon. Madamina, the catalog is dead. In Italia, abandon 200 and so girl. In Germania, 100 girl. In France, in Spain, in his countries, make a tradition is abandoned. 1,003. He's good man, and this is the servant.
Madamina, il catalogo è questo, delle belle che amò il padron mio, un catalogo che ho fatto io. Osservate, leggete com'è, osservate, leggete com'è. In Italia 640, in Almania 231, al tempo in Francia il via 91, in Spagna son già 1.300, 1.300.
The Madamina of the Leporello, Mr. Baccaloni. Now, what you say here is most intriguing. Your Leporello, as you interpret him, he is not a toady of Don Giovanni. I mean, he does not bow down to him all the time. He's his own man,
Yes,
as you interpret him.
For some reasons, I judge Leporello the first enemy of Don Giovanni. Because he don't like Don Giovanni. He hate Don Giovanni. Because every time Don Giovanni round the shoulder to him, he speak bad about him. When you like he's only submitted himself to Don Giovanni. When Don Giovanni, during the show to him sometimes the soul, say to him, I got to beat you. Leporello is the coward.
He's the coward. He gets scared.
He's the scared. He's the countryman. He's not Spanish. Real on the story. Leporello come from, is one little coward man from South Italy, from Sicily.
I see.
Perhaps he's the jailed man go to serve Don Giovanni.
In other words, he might have had a record and Giovanni's got something on him, as you interpret it. And he's not one of these noble Spaniards. He comes more humble, and therefore he's under the guy's heel.
His very daughter is Don Giovanni, is the noble or no. Don Giovanni perhaps another bad man, the same Leporello. Because who assured in the story, Don Giovanni is a gentleman. All in the stereo.
In the stereo, Giovanni just. But the point is, you play Leporello as your own man.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
the important thing. And there's something you do in a later aria in one of the songs, in the last act.
In the last act, a pietà, signori miei.
When they catch you, you're dressed. Don Giovanni escapes.
Yes, when I am dressed with the Don Giovanni dress, I conquire Don Elvira. And for escape, because I am afraid that Don Elvira and the other, the Conte, everything, go to beat me. I like to escape. I ask mercy to Don Elvira, please, I make this my real. I am not. He oblige me, Don Giovanni, this kind of bad man. In the same time, I try to escape. I sing this famous aria. Before me forget this aria, but I remade... I revival the aria during the Glyndebourne exhibition.
In other words, before your Leporello came along, this aria was omitted. Leporello's never sang this one.
I like this aria because it's so charming, it's so cute. And after, demonstrate to you that the syncopate is not the invention of today. Because in this aria, you found some syncopate by Mozart.
So Mozart was syncopating way back then.
Yes, real. If you play, I show you.
He was a jazz man even then.
No, he's not a jazz man because the syncopate is the real expression of music.
This particular aria.
Oh, yes. I remember in 1926, used to come to play in Milan, Jack Hilton Orchestra. in the little theater, the Filodramatici, near to the La Scala, across the street to the artist entrance. In that time, I rehearsed with Toscanini in La Scala Deborah Iele by Pizzetti, the great Ildebrando Pizzetti, the great musician. Is the biblical. When they have the intermission, Toscanini with Pertile, with me, with Ness, with some other art, escape because he's foolish about syncopate. He love absolute. The Jack Hilton is the great orchestra at that time.
English jazz band at the time. But here then is the syncopated aria of Leporello as he's asking for mercy.
Ask for mercy. Pietà, signori miei, you gave me a mercy because I am a fine man. Only the troubles is the Don Giovanni.
Don Giovanni. This then is part of this aria that you sing with your own Leporello. Mr. Baccaloni, you've been very gracious in giving me so much of your time. Now we know of you too as an actor. You've been in movies.
Yeah.
You are a straight actor.
Yeah.
Now,
what difference? What difference?
What difference does it make? No matter what.
Play is play. One day, you remember Mr. The great colonist in Los Angeles, Mr. Edwin Shallard. Ask me about that. About Shallard, what difference you found from your real profession, from the new profession you ended the moving picture? Mr. Shallard, what it says, play is play. I play the same I play on the real stage. I don't change ni one shoes. Because you needed to make the little technical changement. Perhaps your motion a little slow because you move the same you move in the stage, come electrical moving, no, and climb of the voice. You speak more with the voice in your chest, no with impostation.
Because of the microphones.
Yeah, the microphone start to go in the red zone. After the voice come to nasal, come this. Principally, you have to forget the footlight, because when you have your life, you
don't project. You don't project.
No, you needed to forget that the audience is here.
But aside from that, the important thing is something you said about Shalyapin earlier applies to yourself. You are that man you are playing. He was Boris, you are Leporello, or you are this father in that movie. Your point is, it doesn't matter what the medium is. You are the actor or the singer.
That is all right. You needed to project yourself in every kind of art.
This is
when you make a sculpture, when you make the painter, when you sing, when you play, when you express yourself through the heart, you needed only one thing, sincerity.
On that note, Mr. Baccaloni.
Project yourself in the audience. The audience in the moving picture is more big than in the theater. Because really, you think, I know the audience. You have an audience for a million people.
I think you've just said something that's a perfect close to our interview. You, the artist, have to project yourself as a person, too, across this. And art is an extension of the artist's personality.
A principle, I have to bring on the stage Shalyapin or Baccaloni. You have to bring in the stage again, I tell you, Boris, Don Basilio, and Don Bartolo. And you need it when you enter, the audience found, this is the drinking priest in the barber. This is the bad lovers in Don Pasquale. Because, you have many Don Pasquale in the world. Many old men like the young girl. This is wrong.
Again, the mirror, that man has to mirror life.
Mirror order.
And you do it so beautifully. Thank you again, Mr. Salvatore Baccaloni.
Thank you, Studs. I like to see you soon as soon. Monday you come to see the great picture, Tosca, with in the title role with Franca Duval. He's great artist and great companion, a nice guy.
Thank you very much. Salvatore Baccaloni, our guest. And this winds up our Wax Museum for this morning.
Salagadula me, Mexica Bulero, Padenica Bobby they jump this Bobby Boo. Salagadula, Mexica Bula, Bibidi Bobby Boo. Put them together and what have you got? Bibidi Bobby, Bibidi Bobby, Bibidi Bobby Boo.